Hey, we're looking at Thursday, May 2nd. You guys are into your last month. Did you guys get to hang out with me? As much as we're looking for, this is regular class, not advanced. You're looking for the advanced one, don't watch this one, you'll be confused. It's not a book you're going to know. We're down to like 3 weeks left of school in general. We're going to get through this book in about 2 weeks. I uploaded the, hang on, I'll show you in a second. Blah, blah, did that. You're good to go if you're at home. From there. Tomorrow I'll be selling the cookie packs. Today was the fruit by the foot. There we go. I uploaded the audiobook yesterday to make sure it was working. Since the Outsiders one wasn't, I double-checked this one. The audiobook and the ebook on this one are a bit more important since you can't take the copy home every day. And so you can get a chance to use the ebook and the audiobook. The audiobook, from beginning to end, was all of 4 hours. So it's not a very long book. It flies through pretty quickly. If for some reason you do want a copy of the book to take home, you can. You just have to come see me after 7th period and you have to return it to me before 1st period. But you're welcome to check out a copy if you would like one. Otherwise, use the ebook or use the audiobook, or do what 90% of you are going to do and just don't read it at all and then just stare at me in class and look confused.
That sounds good.
On this one, there is a movie. It is nowhere near as... The Outsiders movie is a good movie. It was well done. The second one, this one, that was Then, This Is Now, I like the book better, but the movie's not nearly as good on this one. You're welcome to watch it. It's just not nearly as helpful.
What's it on?
It's probably hard to find because it's not as popular, but I think you can find it on YouTube, actually. But like I said, I don't think it really follows the book nearly as closely. For me, this book I like personally better than Outsiders. But the drawback is it doesn't work as well if you've not read The Outsiders. I liked The Outsiders. I thought it was a fun book when I read it when I was a kid. And then I read this one on my own. I was one of those weird kids that didn't hate reading. So I read Outsiders with the teacher, and then she was like, there's a second book if you want to read it. And I went out and found it, and I read it. For me, this book is the first one that I remember making me cry reading a book. I didn't cry during Outsiders. If I did, I don't remember it. And on this one, it's not a death that happens. It's because what I was going through in my actual life happened in the book. Because this book deals with friends who start doing drugs. And then having what happens to those friendships and those choices you have to make. And it hits it in a really real way that I was actually going through. And so for this one, there is a scene that happens towards the end that doesn't even involve a person dying, but it's pretty strong and emotional, so that's why I like it. Plus, it allows us to have conversations as we get here towards the end of the year, which we didn't really get to do with Outsiders. We'll get into more here, just the choices we get. Plus, this book is why I started telling stories at the end of the year. That last week, we have 3 weeks left of school, but that last week of school, we don't do That Was Then, This Is Now. That last week, I set aside just for me telling stories. And those stories I tell are from me and my life, my junior high, high school, and stuff like that. And so what it is my stories about poor choices I made and how they shaped me. Because I think too many adults try to portray themselves as perfect and not making mistakes. And no human is perfect and doesn't make mistakes. And so I will present to you mistakes that I made and how they shaped me. And that came from conversations I had with kids because of this book. And so it sort of led into all of that. Plus, Outsiders, Ponyboy's a good guy. He's nice. I mean, he smokes, but overall I think he's a good kid. The main characters here are not good. The main character comes right out in the very beginning of it and tells you, like, I lie, I cheat, I'm not real good to women. And he does all these bad things, but we have to decide if he's still a good or bad person. So you get that whole do bad choices make you a bad person thing. But, much like with Outsiders, I'm going to try and read as much of it with you as I can to try and help you guys out. First off, do you guys know what a plainclothes cop is?
No.
Because they talk about it right at the very beginning. They're going to mention a plainclothes cop. It's an undercover cop. Because the kid is sneaking into a bar. And he's like, I can get away with it as long as I don't get caught by a plainclothes cop. And so that just means like an undercover cop. The ones that you see like in the detective shows who wear like normal clothes and not walking around with a badge. So just making sure.
Undercover.
Some cops are better at being undercover than others. When you Google undercover cop, really weird pictures come up. So I tried to find the more entertaining ones. I'm not sure you'd look at any of those and go, that guy's really fitting in undercover. Nailed it. Anyway, the other good thing about this book is it begins on page 9, so you get to like skip the first 8 pages. So when we go chapter 1, you're already 8 pages in. No, it's like a gift to every kid.
It's crazy.
Mark and me went down to the bar/pool hall about 2 or 3 blocks from where we lived with the sole intention of making some money. We'd done that before. I was a really good pool player, especially for being just 16 years old. And what's more, I look like a baby-faced kid who wouldn't know one ball from another. This, and the way Mark set me up, helped me hustle a lot of pool games. The bad deal is, it's against the law to be in this pool hall if you're underage, because there's an adjoining bar. The good deal is, the bartender and owner was a good friend of mine, being the older brother of this chick I used to like. When this chick and me broke up, I still stayed friends with her brother, which is unusual in cases like that. Charlie, the bartender, he was only 22, but he had a tough reputation and kept order real good. We lived in kind of a rough part of town, and some pretty wild things went on in Charlie's bar. Put it on the green one there, and then your book's the only one that's left over there. Real quick, hustling pool. That's going to happen a lot in here is how they make money in there. It's not just playing pool. You can hustle anything. Pool, darts. You could technically hustle Fortnite. You could hustle basketball. The difference between, you guys know what betting and gambling is?
Yeah.
So the idea being is that if I were to say, hey, you and I, let's shoot free throws and see who can make the most. Whoever makes the most gets to win like $1 per free throw. And you're like, all right, we both try shooting free throws. But I step up there, I'm like, I'm not very good at this free throw thing. Wang, wang, wang. And you're like, you're awful. I'm like, oh man, you won. I'm like, that's right, I'll get better. Like, let's do double or nothing. Like, $2 a shot? Like, all right. I'm like, all right, I got this. Like, wang, wang, thwink, wang, thwink. I'm like, ooh, I got better. I'm like, all right, I've got this. Let's do $5 a shot. This time I think I can make it. Would you bet me?
Yeah. No.
Because most likely you're going like, well, this guy's awful and he's an idiot. Of course I'll take his money.
No.
And I go, all right, ready? Thunk, 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 thunk. Oh, money. And so hustling is when you pretend to be really bad at something to get people to agree to bet you, and then you get really good at it, and then you end up taking their money from them.
So smart.
And so people will do that with anything they can get you to gamble on, pool, poker, Fortnite, if you want to try. And the idea here is it's not technically lying, but it seems to make people really mad at you.
It is lying.
I mean, you're not.
You're
bad at first, but then you get
It's just like when your parents say, like, how are you doing? And you don't go, I snuck out of the house last night. You just don't say anything. And you're like, I didn't lie. I just didn't bring up the fact that I did. And so it's that same thing. And then when your parents beat you later, you're like, I guess it was lying. I'm sorry. And you get to learn from there. Anyway, sorry. Back to here. I looked around. Hashtag too real. I looked around for a plainclothes cop when we went in. I can always tell a cop. I didn't find one, so I went up to the bar and hopped on a bar stool. Give me a beer, I said, and Charlie, who was cleaning glasses just like every bartender you ever see, gave me a dirty look instead. Okay, I said brightly, a Coke. Your credit ain't so hot, Brian. You got cash? It's a dime, for crying out loud. Can't you let me charge a dime Coke? Cokes are 15 cents. And you already got $3 worth of Cokes charged here. And if you don't pay up this month, I'll have to beat it out of you. He said it real friendly like, but he meant it. We were friends, but Charlie was a businessman too. I'll pay up, I assured him. Don't worry. Charlie gave me a lopsided grin. I ain't worried, kid. You're the one who should be worried. I was, to tell the truth. Charlie was a big, tough guy, so a $3 beating up was something to worry about. All right, another quick pause. Because kids are like, he's going to get beat up over $3? I find that on the bottom of my bed.
But we're
Realize this was book is set before I was born. It's like way back in dinosaur times. So $3 was a little bit different. So to do some quick I learned math. The cost of Cokes back then were 10 cents. He said 15 cents. But the $3 was back during the 10 cents time. Apparently he raised the price to 15. So plus it makes the math easier and some kids have struggles. So If we charged $3 worth of Cokes at 10 cents a piece, how many Cokes was it?
30.
Nicely done. 30. So nowadays, if you were to go out to a restaurant and you were to get a Coke, they're not 10 cents. So
Like
for
$2.
easy math, I was going to say probably $2 a Coke, because I'm saying from an actual restaurant. So if it's $2 a Coke and you get 30 Cokes,
$60.
there you go. So if it gives you an idea, his beating is a $60 beating, not a $3 beating, to convert it to nowadays times. Given you probably still don't want to get beat up for $60, but it at least makes more sense than a $3 beating.
It's more
Yeah.
fun.
But they're
I mean,
less.
beating people is always fun, but yeah, I'm with you.
Thanks.
Let's see. Hey, Mark, Charlie called. There ain't nobody here to hustle. Mark, who'd been scouting out the two guys playing pool, came up and sat down next to me. Yeah, that's the truth. It's just as well, Charlie said. You guys are going to get in real bad trouble one of these days. Some guy's going to get hacked off when he finds out what you're doing, and you're going to get a pool stick rammed down your throats.
Ooh.
By the way, what's the term for that when you have hints that are in a story that show up like
Wait, what?
Wait, there's gonna
No,
be
we ain't, Mark said. Give me a Coke, Charlie.
That should happen.
We don't have any credit, I said glumly. Mark stared at Charlie disbelievingly. You gotta be kidding. Man, when do we ever not pay our bill? Last month. Ah, you said you'd add it on to this month's. That's what you said. So I don't see why you can't add 20 cents to that. 30 cents, corrected Charlie. And like I just told Brian, if I don't get that money pretty soon, I'm going to take it out of a couple of hides. I'll get you the money tomorrow, if you give us the Cokes right now. Okay, Charlie gave in to Mark. Almost everybody does. It was a gift he had. A gift for getting away with things. He could talk anyone into anything. But if I don't get the money by tomorrow, I'll come looking for you. I got chilled. I'd heard Charlie say that to another guy once. I also saw the guy after Charlie found him. But if Mark had said he'd have $3 by tomorrow, somehow he'd have it. Speaking of looking for you, Charlie continued, the true flower child was in here asking for you. Eminem? Mark asked. What did he want? How would I know? Man, that is a weird kid. A nice guy, but weird. Yeah, Mark said. I guess it would be hard to be a hippie in the hood's part of town. Speak for yourself, man. This part of town don't make nobody a hood. You're right. But I really sounded profound there for a minute, huh? Charlie just gave him a funny look, got us the Cokes. It was later in the evening now, and some more customers came in, so Charlie quit talking to us. It got pretty busy. Another quick pause. One, Eminem, not the white boy rapper, although he is adorable. This is going to be a different Eminem. And two, do you guys know what a hippie is?
Yes. Peace and love, man.
There you go. The peace, love, happiness. And so this was back during the time period when hippies were like a legit actual thing. And so this friend of theirs named Eminem, named after the candy, which we'll find out in a little bit, was an actual hippie with like the long hair and the tie-dye shirts and like the sandals and stuff like that.
That's hood.
And so he does live in like the hood, like the greaser section of town, but he was like the happy hippie kid. So it got pretty busy in there. Where are you going to get $3? I asked Mark. He finished off his Coke. I don't know. That bugged the heck out of me. Mark was always pulling stunts like that. I don't know. Mark had lived at my house ever since I was 10 and he was 9, and his parents shot each other in a drunken argument, and my old lady felt sorry for him and took him home to live with us. My mother wanted 100 kids, could have only one, so till she got hold of Mark, she had to be content feeding every stray cat that came along. There was no telling how many kids she might have picked up along the line. She could have afforded more than 2, me and Mark. I'd been friends with Mark long before he came to live with us. He lived down the street, and it seemed to me that we'd always been together. We never even had a fight. We never even had an argument. In looks, we were complete opposites. I'm a big guy, dark hair and eyes, the kind who looks like a St. Bernard puppy, which I don't mind, as most chicks cannot resist a St. Bernard puppy. Mark was small and compact, with strange golden eyes and hair to match, and a grin like a friendly lion. He was much stronger than he looked. He could tie me in arm wrestling. He was my best friend. We were like brothers. On the front, since kids are going to ask, the big guy in the middle, that's Brian, who's all big and dark like a St. Bernard puppy. If you don't know what a St. Bernard puppy is, that's the St. Bernard puppy. Exactly, which is why he likes looking like that, because he gets the chicks, which he'll talk about quite a bit. He's a player. He comes right out and says, I'm a player because chicks dig me. And then the one on his, or if you're looking at it to the right, that's Mark, the one who looks more like a lion and kind of scary. The other one, which looks like a dude, is a chick, and we'll talk about her later. And that's Kathy. We'll eventually get to her. But there is where we're going to stop. Here's where we're going to make sure we don't